Look! Death from above! Hello, everyone from the Jukem cinematic universe. Welcome back to another Pokken discussion video. Today we're going to be talking about another support set. Honestly, just the one support. Yveltal. Yveltal is a very underrated support, in my opinion. I've been taught many things about it in more recent times, and I think it's an all-around very cool support, and I want to share fun facts about it, and generally what it's like. Beginning with the Bacon Bird and how it is functionally, it is a 40 charge type support, so pretty long for what it is, but if you land it, it's very, very good. It deals 12 hits. The first hit puts them in the hit stun, the other hits do not, unless it's the final hit, and it does 135 damage, you can see, and most importantly, it gives them a Synergy Burst sealed debuff. Now, this, obviously, seals Synergy Burst, and if they're already in their burst mode, they can't do their burst attack. Really good against characters like Shadow Mewtwo, who can get burst very frequently, and also just has a very destructive burst in general. It also removes some synergy too. Now, another caveat for the support is that it can only be used once. That means you got to make your use matter, because it used to be multi-use before, but this time, through patches and other stuff, because Braixen happened and Braixen could make use of this strong effect, it can only be used once. It is very good for keeping up pressure if they do block it, though the first hit and the rest of the hits aren't a block stream. There is one exception to this though. When you land a late knockdown hit from the first one, because the first hit actually lingers a while, and there are probably other circumstances this can happen with, it actually all block streams with each other, which I did not have up because I forgot to do that. But as you can see right here, it's all going to block stream from one another, and it's very, very good because this can be used for multiple uses besides just trying to land it, which makes it very cool. Like, see how fast? Usually they would just be able to do something like this. And even then, land the first hit still pretty good if they're like in the corner. Actually, they're still a little plus, I think, off that. But it's very good to have in general. If you think they're going to be doing something, you could do a Yveltal. If they're not doing something, worst case scenario, they block. Because I don't think they can actually grab you after Yveltal is called, if I recall. Yeah, you can't do it. So once it's called, it's going to come down before a grab can even come out, which is very, very cool as well. Yveltal does good damage by itself. It's not so much a damaging tool, it's kind of more of a use. Now, you can do a lot of cool things to do a lot of damage with specific setups and various combos, but the main idea for Yveltal is that you want to deal a good chunk of damage. Like, I guess 178 is decent, but you also want to just get the debuff. That's the most important part. Now, I mentioned about the pressure you can give. I want to bring up two shield break setups against light shield characters, such as Shadow Mewtwo here, which is why I have him as my punching bag, with Yveltal and Pokken, because those are my characters. And there's probably other various ones you can do with other characters if you put the time and effort into it. But I just want to show these off as like proof of an example of what you can do with it, because this makes use of the late first hit that I mentioned on the knockdown. At least for one of them. For Yveltal, he just has traps, so he can just do it anytime. As you can see here, I will do my charge totally now broken kick, and this is off a very common tool Yveltal will use. And this is all a true block stream. Because of the traps, the first hit will still connect into the later hits, and you get something like this. Now, for Empoleon, it's actually surprisingly simple. It's super simple, in fact. Just look at this. You don't even need a defense debuff. I'm pretty sure with the Yveltal setup, you need it. But for a big boy like Empoleon, he says, screw that noise, I'm doing all this. Now, for this setup I agree. Now, for this setup, for Empoleon and Yveltal, the Yveltal call actually kind of takes a long time to do, so you're not actually seeing the full HP it can actually do. For example, let me show this. As you can see through this setup, the 92 damage that I do kind of resets, so it's not even showing you like the full damage I'm getting off of this. And doing a lot of damage like that is also really good. Like I said, you don't really get too high of damage in combos, but from the stuff before it, if you count to 92, I basically just did 300 damage. You honestly probably take more damage from blocking the attack than getting hit, but you also get the debuff from it. And that's why it's one of my new favorite supports to use against low shields. Now, going back to Yveltal, because I totally forgot to show this too. And that actually goes into my next thing I want to talk about, so maybe it's good I did it in this order. I'm so weird. I want to talk about the combos and other, like, what's a synonym for combos I can use without saying combo again? Other applications for the thing. Okay, so you like just do anything with Yveltal, for example, and dash cancel, it combos into this. Very neat, very useful, and for Yveltal in particular, he can backdash and do Giga Drain to land that, which actually does a lot of damage for something that was only 4 PSP. Now, of course, other characters have their own command grabs you can do probably too. Now, comboing with Yveltal can be very tricky because it does deal 12 hits, and only the final hit gives the debuff, which can be pretty irritating when you have a lot of hits like this, And as you can see, it's going to do 12 hits, and that's already 10. It's going to reach 21 hits, and not in a way where it's going to land the final hit. So they don't get the debuff. But you can also have other characters, such as little gremlin guy with the jazz hands over here. He has a lot of utilities that can get him to use his stuff. Now, the main one is going to be Icicle Crash. And I'm not too good at using Icicle Crash, but I'm going to fail so much at this. And he can combo into it this way. Now, I know from a cool Yveltal player named... I failed that. Oh, my goodness. That's a 245? Oh, dang. A guy named Pita Guy. Sorry. Pita Guy. He is a very good user of Yveltal with Weavile. So if you want to see more examples of how to use it, I definitely recommend looking up sets with him. And it's just another good character that can use Yveltal. There's so many ways this support could probably be used with other characters, and please don't yawn at me, that's very rude, that I feel like the support is very underrated. The only ones who I think I can recall using it, like, seriously in competitive matches would be Pita Guy and myself. It's mainly me and Pita Guy, and that kind of sucks a bit because I feel like this is super underrated, as I mentioned. It's very good just in general. The only bad thing is it's a one-time use and the 40-second charge time. Now, that can be alleviated a bit if you want to use Latios round 1 with a support cheer skill, so that after every round, unless it's like a timeout where you win the round, in which case you won the round anyway, who cares, then you get a Yveltal support right away. And you can do this at any time. So it's very, very good. And Latios isn't even that bad. But another benefit towards Yveltal Bacon Bird guys. Please, why do you keep yawning? Oh my gosh, Weavile, shut up. I literally just switched over so I could stop hearing you yawn. Anyway, after 5 million failed takes because Weavile kept yawning and I was tired of it, another great application for Yveltal is that it can be used defensively. He's a great tool for if the opponent is carelessly putting pressure on your block when normally they would be fine. So I guess not so much carelessly, but if they overextend themselves, they can get hit like this. And what makes it good compared to Lapras, because Lapras is another support I like using personally to do something like that, is that if they're pressing nothing, they have to respect it and can't grab. They can jump it and maybe hit you a bit, but they'll have to worry about landing in either the puddle and get hit by the first hit of Yveltal, or they'll be put in a tiny bit of hit stun, not like they can get comboed, but they'll slow down, and if they're in an attack animation, it can kind of slow them down a bit, and either they'd be able to be comboed off that, because it's like more punishable, or you'll be even on block, and you can put pressure on them, because they have to deal with the puddle. As an example, because this is a really good use of it, is that Shadow Mewtwo is like a lot to wait a bit as you land, and then charge Tornado. Now, if they do something like this, something I forgot to mention for Yveltal is that it also pierces. So if they do something like this, they're going to get hit here. And then you can get your own cool thing. It's a one-time per use. So even if they don't get hit, as I mentioned, the pressure from it, because they can't grab you like they can with Lapras, it hits pretty big. So if they're somewhat in the air, they can still get hit if they're trying to land. And worst case scenario, you trade and you get to still hit them because, you know, all the hits from Yveltal, and you get out of the situation. So it can be worth it in that case if you're like on your last legs and you want to like swap sides because they have to either get hit or block all the hits, and then you could jump over them and pressure them instead, because you would still have a lot of time to be able to put up the pressure because of all the hits from Yveltal. It's got the damage, it's got the debuff, it's got the pressure, it's got the defensive options. It's a great support. But it's just hindered by the 40-second charge time and the one-time per use. But that's how you make a balanced support in this game. Because otherwise, Breakson would run amok and kill everything, and the meta would be destroyed. But that's all I want to talk about for Yveltal, because Yveltal is very cool, and I totally recommend you finding your own uses out of it, whether that's for the combos and other stuff I mentioned, because I've been saying it a lot, but it's just a very cool support. And I love it a lot, and I'm going to be using it a lot. And I have been using a lot if you've seen some of my later set videos. Mostly for Empoleon when it comes to like weaker shields, but for Sceptile I've been using it quite frequently, both for low shields and everyone else, for the main fact of it being able to combo into his moves so easily. Weavile can also combo so easily, and other combo-based characters may want to debuff their opponent if you're struggling with your opponent's burst, especially if it's like Shadow Mewtwo. But yes, I hope y'all have a great day, and see you next time for more Pokken coolness. And speaking of Pokken coolness, have you ever seen 2 Giga Drains happen? Oh yeah. I'm so lame. See you guys next time. This is gonna be so hard to do. How do I throw it? I'm a one-man recording station. How do I chuck this Cascoon plush into the air hard enough to hit my forehead accurately? As I throw it, I don't understand physics! Ah! I hit my keyboard. Screw it. We're doing one take for that.